So let's talk about load management because it was a hot topic once again over the last week or so. We had two recent examples of it with the Warriors sitting a bunch of guys versus the Cavs, the Nuggets sitting a bunch of guys versus the Bucks. And nothing against those two teams specifically. Those are just the most recent one-off examples I can think of. And of course, even the biggest critics of load management are not saying the guys should play through injury. Like if you're hurt, then you're hurt. I think everybody agrees on that one. But yeah, for load management, look, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by this one. I find myself kind of between a rock and a hard place because I think it's important to optimize guys' health and their maintenance of their bodies throughout their careers. And at the same time, it also sucks when a team basically just doesn't play all the guys that you really, really want to see for a random game. And it also sucks even more if you paid a lot of money to go to that game. And so it's kind of where I'm at. I don't think there's a perfect solution to it. Some people would say, the players are soft, just go play and that's that. That is definitely not the way that I look at it. It's clear that NBA teams, through the vast amounts of money that I'm sure they've invested into sports science and just whatever you can imagine in terms of how to maintain guys throughout a season and throughout their careers, they would rather just dudes play like 65 games in a season for the sake of longevity as opposed to maybe 78 games in that same year, and maybe you put on a little bit more wear and tear and that sort of thing. And because, of course, like just because a guy's playing doesn't mean that he's 100% healthy. Like he's probably got something that he's got to manage in some way. And there's also a conversation about just how much distance you have to move in today's game because of all the space and all the shooting, and that's fair too. There's also this fact of travel, and I still remember this article that came out like a couple years ago where Tobias Harris was kind of the lead of it, where he was talking about how like, yeah, man, NBA players don't get that much sleep because of just how much we're moving around the country and stuff. And with all that said, yeah, it still sucks when I'm really excited to watch Nuggets Bucks and then I find out that the Nuggets are sitting all their starters besides Aaron Gordon. Although shout out to Aaron Gordon, he had 26 and 14 in that game against the Bucks. So anyway, are there possible solutions? I mean, okay, so I've seen the reduced games, and Steve Kerr said that he would like the season to be 72 games. And he said that after that game in which he sat Steph, Clay, Draymond, Wiggins, and the whole thing. Yeah, I think the season being a little shorter would do a lot for just freeing up more space in the schedule, giving teams more rest days, and making it a little easier and not putting as much on guys day to day. But I just assume because of the lost revenue, it's just never going to happen. And so then I just wonder, can the season start a week and a half earlier? Can it end a week and a half later? Or just something to give these guys, just a little more space in the middle of the schedule. And I would like to believe that Adam Silver and the league offices are thinking about that sort of stuff, because Adam Silver had something about 7 months ago where he acknowledged load management and all that. And I would just like to believe that the league offices and Silver are viewing load management more through the lens of an open communication between them and the players, as opposed to a more cynical us versus them sort of thing. The other idea, which Charles Barkley, if he didn't explicitly say, then he alluded to, which basically he was saying that he really hopes in the next CBA that the owners kind of stick it to the players in some sort of way to get them to play more games. Which, by the way, I don't know how owners feel about dudes missing games. I'm sure owners have some sort of input on what their medical staff thinks of how to maintain guys through an NBA season full of travel and late nights and whatever else. But yeah, I think Chuck was alluding to, can salaries be affected by games and minutes played? Now, if I'm not mistaken, there already are games and minutes based incentives, right? I mean, I just looked up Joel Embiid incentive for games played. In 2000, he hit a minutes incentive that increased his salary. So that's already kind of a thing. But what I've also seen some people suggest on the internet is if dudes play less, they get paid less. And I'm pretty sure when people say that, they're talking about more so the like guy missed a game and then came back right after and everything was like normal, right? My thing with that is we don't know what every guy is dealing with, Like dudes can have wear and tear type of things going on where, like, yeah, he could play, but if we just completely ignore this and then we fast forward 2 years, the dude's going to miss like 7 months because we never addressed the thing that was essentially a ticking time bomb, whether it's a knee, a shoulder, a back, or a foot, or what, I don't know. Did this make sense? I don't know. Look, man, pretty much if you're going to go to an NBA game, just take a good hard look at your team's schedule and the other team's schedule and just really, really hope, pretty much. I mean, yeah, like in my personal ideal world, it would be sick if you could find out that Steph Curry's not playing in the Warriors game you want to go to, the one chance you get to see him that year, and then you can get a refund. But again, that's my imaginary world. It's not the actual one.